Okay, welcome back. Last time we had just gotten to Act 4. So here we are. We had just killed Mephisto and gotten to Act 4. Okay, makes you wonder why they didn't just do that in the first place.
It is good to see you again, hero. Mephisto's defeat is a great victory for the light. I knew that you would eventually find your way here. The Pandemonium Fortress is the last bastion of heaven's power before the gates of the burning hells. This place has been hallowed by the blood of thousands of champions of the light, many of whom were mortal, like yourself. Now, the final battle against the prime evils draws near. You must face it alone. I have been forbidden to aid you directly, save for a few bits of wisdom. For this is the hour of mortal man's triumph. Your triumph. May the light protect you and the powers of heaven shine upon your path. There is a dark, tortured soul who was trapped within this forsaken realm long ago. He was called Iswal by mortal men, and in ages past he was my most trusted lieutenant. Yet, against my wishes, he led an ill-fated assault upon the fiery Hellforge itself. Despite his valor and strength, Iswal was captured by the prime evils and twisted by their perverse powers. They forced him to betray his own kind and give up heaven's most guarded secrets. He became a corrupt shadow of his former self, a fallen angel, trusted neither by heaven nor hell. For his transgressions, Iswal's spirit was bound within the form of a terrible creature, which was summoned from the abyss. His maddened spirit has resided within that tortured husk for many ages now. It seems to me that he has suffered long enough. I implore you, hero, find Iswal and release him from his cruel imprisonment. Put an end to his guilt and suffering.
Okay, so we already have two quests here. Number one is to look for Iswal in the Plains of Despair. And number two is to take Mephisto's Soulstone to the Hellforge. So, I think we've identified our items. Let's go over here and talk to... There's a couple of vendors here. But they're not very chatty. I don't think either one of them have any lines of dialogue. You know, kind of cool stuff, but certainly not better than our stealth. You know, the cold resist, faster hit recovery, good, but obviously stealth is just better. And you can see here, now we're starting to get into some armors that are higher required strength 55. So, may want to think about upping our strength a little bit. Let's just see here if there's any... No, it's just armor. Oh, I did want to go ahead and put this Thul rune in here. Just reorganize this stuff a little bit. Okay. Let's head out into hell. Alright, cool. We've already found the first way down. Just kill these couple of guys, and then we'll head on to... which should be the Plains of Despair. And that is... yep, this is where we should find Iswal somewhere. And we are a little bit, you know, one-dimensional in the sense that we're really just using this fire trap to kill everything. But that's fairly typical for kind of your first time through the game. In terms of, generally you're gonna be picking, you're gonna be kind of picking one skill to max out. You don't have to worry too much about resistances. Yes, you will occasionally come across some monsters that are immune or highly resistant to whatever type of damage you're doing. But for the most part, it's best to absolutely max out one skill than it is to be in a situation where, you know, you've got a whole bunch of different kinds of skills. And most endgame builds work similarly in the sense that, you know, you will choose areas to farm that, oh, there's his wall right there. And he is actually really tanky. A lot of times the best thing to do is to just kind of let him follow you around and walk through whatever spells you're casting while you kill everything else. Because he's just got tons and tons of health. Anyway, as I was saying, you know, a lot of times, you know, as you get towards the end of the game, you will also generally pick one spell or skill to become your primary damage dealer. Whether that's, you know, being a Blizzard Sorceress, or a Nova Sorceress, or, you know, an assassin who uses lightning traps, or an assassin who uses fire traps, or an assassin who uses, you know, a particular martial arts finishing move. You know, you're going to maximize your build generally around one, maybe two primary skills. And there we go, we got him. Well, thanks, Iswal. That's really helpful. Appreciate everything you've done for the eternal struggle there, basically betraying all of us. Awesome. Where is the way down? I haven't seen it yet. Must have missed it somewhere. I know it's not over here, because this is going to just lead back to to pick up this large charm. But we should be headed to the City of the Damned next. And there should be a path somewhere in here that will take us there. Anyway, yeah. So it's far more efficient to just maximize. Just not seeing the path down anywhere. Ah, there it is. Okay. City of the Damned. And part of that, in terms of just like maximizing your one single skill damage, part of that meta really emerged in, I want to say it was patch 1.09 or 1.10, when all of these synergies got added. So there used to not be any synergies on any skills, right? So when you looked at the skill tree, the way that with our traps we get a 10% bonus from Fire Blast and a 10% bonus from Wake of Inferno to our Wake of Fire spell, that used to not exist. The Wake of Fire spell just did the damage it did, and the only way to get it to do more damage was to increase your skill up to a maximum of... I'm going to see what this pole axe is, just because it could be 4 sockets. It's 3, so forget it. I don't care about that. And yes, I'm aware that I leveled up, but the waypoint is right here. So we'll just clear out the stuff around this and head back to... And you can see how short this act is, right? There's literally only 3 waypoints. Let's talk to Tyrael about Iswell.
Thank you, hero, for putting Iswell's tortured spirit to rest. May the light protect you and the powers of heaven shine upon your path. But if what you tell me is true, then I fear that we have been played for fools all along. Iswell helped Diablo and his brothers trick me into using the Soul Stones against them. Now the Stones' powers are corrupted. With the combined powers of the Soul Stones under their control, the Prime Evils will be able to turn the mortal world into a permanent outpost of hell.
Alright, so Tyrael gives you 2 extra skill points for doing the Fallen Angel quest, which is awesome, right? Those 2 extra skill points are super valuable. Unfortunately, we can't increase our Wake of Fire any higher. You know, it's maxed out for where we are. We're going to put 5 more points into Strength here. Closed out this quest. We still have to destroy Mephisto's Soulstone in the Hellforge. And then the question becomes, where do we put the rest of our skills? We could put it into Fade, but we're really going to be using Burst of Speed more than anything else. Again, we don't need Weapon Block. Psychic Hammer and Cloak of Shadows, these are useful spells. Mind Blast in particular is really good, but we don't need these yet. We're just doing so much damage that these are more kind of defensive spells. Other spells or skills in this tree are the Shadow Warrior and the Shadow Master, which is like a little minion, like a clone of yourself, essentially, that you can spawn. But again, it's just not necessary. We're doing so much damage with our fire spells that it really, and martial arts, we're just not going to do anything with this. Best thing to do is just really maximize our Wake of Fire damage for as long as we are going to keep using Wake of Fire as our primary spell. So, because of that, we will just put 2 more hard points into Fire Blast, which makes our Fire Blast a little bit stronger, which is nice, I guess, whenever we have to use it. But the main point to doing it, of course, is just to keep boosting the fire output of Wake of Fire. And what do we see? We got mana and life, poison damage and poison resist. Poison resist. What is this one? 3 to dex. That's not useful. I'm just going to reorganize this stuff a little bit here. I guess we'll put Mephisto's Soulstone here. this one? 1 to 2 cold damage. Useless. I'll save these. And, you know, just drop those because they're really not. Yeah, it always bugs me that the game kind of organizes stuff. I need to stop auto-organizing. We need to really get a bigger belt here. Let's just see. I think Halbu may sell some belts. Yeah, he sells. This is poison resist, which is cool. Replenished life, and 2 to strength. You can see here that these belts now are required strength 60. So our next skill up, our next level up, we are going to need to up this to 60 so we can start wearing the heavier belts. Meantime, also, let's equip our teleport staff, because I'm just going to put this in here since it's a unique item that we're just not really going to use anymore. So now what we can do is when we go over to our skill tree, we can check on general skills, and here we have teleport provided as a skill. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bind this skill to now the Y button. We don't need the throw anymore. And now as long as we have our teleport staff equipped, we can hit that Y button and it will teleport us. So let me just show what that looks like. So let's just say, you know, we're here and we're at the edge of something and there is something that allows us to not get across. We can go whoop, and now we just zip across. And this is just really nice. You can see down there on the bottom across the skill bar there that it's under the Y skill, and there's 32 charges left. We can recharge the teleport staff by going to a blacksmith and having them repair the item, and that will restore all of the charges. Now, that does get expensive. For an item that has charges, you will have to pay a fairly significant amount of gold in order to repair it. However, we will get to a point eventually where gold is essentially meaningless. We'll be having tons of gold. And also, the utility that having the teleport staff provides is just fantastic. So, let's keep on rolling here and make our way to, hopefully, the Hellforge. And these guys are going to be just a little bit tougher because A, they output a ton of damage. You're going to have tons of elemental damage coming at you from all of these Abyss Knights and Oblivion Knights down here. They love to cast spells. You can walk into an area where you run into just like, you know, a dozen of them and they all shoot a spell at you at the same time. Also, the thing that makes them extra fun is that they tend to have fairly high fire resistance for probably obvious reasons. Meaning that our fire spells are going to do a lot less damage to them. Now, they will still die, right? Because we're just doing so much damage. It just takes a little bit longer to kill. Especially those pit lords, those kind of gargoyle-y looking guys. They have really high resistances to spells in general. cestus. Nope, it's just plain old 2 sockets. Every once in a while, those cestuses or claw class weapons will spawn with additional skill modifications on them. So if you are an assassin and you're running around, it makes sense to check those out once in a while. Same thing that, and I just ate that right in the face for no reason. You can see how that hit recovery comes into play here, right? You get hit with one of those things, and it does stagger us because it's a pretty good amount of damage that they're doing, even though our resistances are still quite good. Now, I do think that that broadsword will be a broadsword that we can use for a spirit rune word. And spirit will be kind of our next rune word that we're going to be looking for. Let's check this brand stock. Nope. That is only 2 sockets, and actually it's not a pole arm, it's a spear. So the rune word that we would want to make for our mercenary does not work there anyway. We are at the River of Flame waypoint, which means that we've come to the end of the River of Flame level. So somewhere along the way, we bypassed, and maybe it is over here, the Hellforge. The Hellforge is like a little turn-off from kind of the main mode, and yeah, this is it. So this guy here with the Holy Freeze aura is Hephaesto the Armorer. And he carries the Hellforge hammer that we need. And there we can see we've killed him. He's quite difficult, tanky, and he always has some kind of an aura associated with him. Jeepers, that is a heck of a screen to walk into. But again, our traps will hopefully make pretty quick work of these guys. Anyway, sometimes the auras that he has are really nasty. Pick all of this up, although I don't really care about the studded leather, but sure. Alright. Now we can go up here to the Hellforge. And smash it. And it always drops a handful of gems and a rune. So there we go. We have taken care of Mephisto's Soulstone. That means there is one last quest in this act. Okay, thanks, Hadriel. we're going to need to pick up some more mana potions, because we are just, again, chugging through potions like nobody's business. But we go through the last little bit of the River of Flame here. And here's a case where, you know, we can just use that teleport staff rather than trying to figure out, you know, what routing we need to take to get around that side and all of that other good stuff. Just pick up that teleport staff. Do have to be careful though. Sometimes that teleport staff, you know, if you cross an area with a teleport staff and then you die, you won't be able to get back to it, maybe, to get your body. 2 sockets. Anyway, the Hellforge is one of the better quest rewards in the game. Sit here and say maybe, well, an Ort rune doesn't sound that special, or maybe you're not thinking that at all because you don't know the relative value of runes, but ultimately an Ort rune is not that special. But in when you get to Hell difficulty and do the Hellforge, basically there is a different leveled list of runes that will drop from the Hellforge in each difficulty. We're gonna head on back here and just restock on potions. Well, let's hope so, Deckard. Let's hope. So, we did get some flawless gems, which is kind of nice. And so you can see there are different levels of gems. There is chipped, and then there is flawed, and then there's just a regular gem. And then there are flawless gems, and then there are perfect gems. So, these are generally used for crafting. Perfect gems are, but as you saw, there are uses to other levels of the gems as well with the Heridric Cube, and they provide a slightly better benefit the more of them you have. So you can take 3. So first of all, you can see how a flawed sapphire, put it in a weapon, it gets 3 to 5 cold damage, whereas a perfect sapphire adds 10 to 14 cold damage when you put it into a weapon. Also, you can take 3 gems of a lower type. We have 3 diamonds here, and combine them in the cube into 1 flawless diamond. And then, of course, that 1 flawless diamond can be combined with 2 other flawless diamonds to create a perfect diamond. No, I don't think any perfect gems ever drop in the game. The highest gem that's ever going to drop from like a monster is going to be a flawless gem. And you can take flawless gems, of course, and that's how you turn them into, with 3 of them, you turn them into a perfect one. And the perfect ones are the ones that are typically the most desirable for crafting purposes. You know, that'll make more sense as we get further into it. Cold Resist 19 and Cold Resist 22, both really nice. And probably better than the Nasal Ring, to be totally honest, but not better enough that I want to save it right now, or that I want to use it right now. The Cold Resist 19, not as good, obviously, as the Cold Resist 22. What is this one? This gives us fire, poison, whatever resistance. This is definitely better. 17 lightning resistance versus having 10% fire resistance. I'm not saying that the poison resistance is worthless, but it's not nearly as important as having 17 lightning resist. So we will save these gauntlets and use them as soon as we level up again, and we can get the couple more strength that's required. 60 strength is what we need. Okay. Yep, we have not leveled up yet. So we can sell this, and we can sell that. And oh, right, I forgot. The whole reason we came back was to buy a bunch of potions. And you see, she sells greater mana potions now, instead of just... but they are quite expensive, 500 a piece. And we only have 85 points of mana anyway, so, you know, getting a greater mana potion that restores 225 points of mana, probably not as cost-effective as just getting regular mana potions that restore 120 points of mana. Considering that, you know, we don't even have all of that mana to be restored. And now we can be a little bit more liberal with our trap laying because we've got plenty of mana potions. No concerns at all about running out. And there is pretty significant monster density in here. The Chaos Sanctuary is one of the best places to level up. The monsters are pretty high level in general. When you get to Hell difficulty, this is one of the more popular places to farm in the game, if you can farm it. Not every character can. But Paladins are one of the best, because Paladins, these guys on Hell difficulty have just a myriad of resistances that makes this a very difficult place to farm for a lot of characters. You have a series of them are immune to cold damage, a series of them are immune to lightning damage. Some of them are immune to fire damage. But here on normal difficulty, we don't have to worry about that stuff yet. So here's how this works. You come into the Chaos Sanctuary here, and there are 5 seals, 2 of them over on this left wing of the cathedral. And you have to hit all 5 of these seals. And sometimes when you hit the seals, or for at least 3 of the seals, now this guy, unfortunately, is fire enchanted and fire immune, so we may just have to try to beat him down. Fortunately, our staff does a little bit of poison damage, or we have that charm that does a little bit of poison damage. So this is just going to take a little bit. And you see, we don't hit very much. Actually, might even be faster to get our mercenary for this, because although she also does a lot of fire damage, she also does physical damage. So Tyrael is the guy we talked to for that. And so we will head back here. And hopefully Paige will make quicker work of him. And yeah, you can see she's taking him down. Also because she does all of that additional lightning damage, thanks to the helmet that we gave her. So thanks, Paige. That's good. See, that's a perfect example of where a mercenary can come in and get you past an area that otherwise you would not be able to traverse. Because that is an example of a boss that you can't skip. You have to be able to kill that guy in order to basically mark that seal as opened before you can unlock Diablo himself. I am going to check this broadsword because there's a very small chance. Paige, what are you doing? We don't need to fight these guys yet. That it is 4 sockets, but it's not. It's only 1. So we want a 4 open socket sword. And eventually we're going to want a 4 open socket shield as well. But that won't be for a very long time because there are not very many. There's really only 1 or 2 shields that can even spawn. And I mean regular shields that can spawn with 4 open sockets. If you're a paladin, that's a little different because paladin shields are special. But 4 open socket swords can make the rune word for spirit. And spirit is... I'm not going to say it's the most powerful rune word in the game, because it's not the most powerful in terms of pure stats, but for the level of the runes required, and for how early you can get that rune word in the game, it is incredibly powerful. It's really good for any character who is like a caster, which we basically are, or like a casting version of an assassin, because it adds +2 to your skills. So what makes this leaf staff so good is that it adds 3 to our fire skills. The spirit staff will, or not staff, but the spirit sword will add +2 to all of our skills, not just fire skills. And it also improves our cast rate and gives us more mana and some resistances, and it's just generally a really, really great weapon for anybody who is a caster. So paladins, sorceresses especially, assassins, even other classes will use a spirit sword just because those +2 skills are so beneficial. And the thing that makes it also really nice is that it's a sword, so you can put it in a one-handed slot and then also equip a shield with it. So eventually, we'll be able to have a spirit sword and also a spirit shield, because you can put spirit in a shield as well, and that will give you +4 to your skills, as well as resistances, additional mana, all of that. So it's a really nice weapon, but we are going to need a 4-socketed sword base in order to make it. So that's kind of something that we are on the hunt for. So we'll get these seals and these guys. This will be the last pack of, mini bosses, whatever, that we need to kill. Before Diablo himself comes out. I'm going to pick up this Maiden Javelin, even though. And I'm going to get this Sacred Globe as well, because it probably is going to be worth a little bit of money. Okay, and that should be the last seal.
death can save you from me.
All right. Everybody ready for the final showdown? Let's go see if we can kill Diablo. There he is. Where did he go? There he is. So we will do our usual thing. Of course, our mercenary will just totally die. But Diablo will just sort of stand in one spot a lot of times, casting spells. He has like a fire nova that he casts. The most dangerous thing he has at this level, though, is this lightning hose that he has that he will just spray at you. And the thing that makes it so dangerous is that it actually does a ton of damage if you get stuck in it. But it does half physical damage and half lightning damage. So even if you have tons of lightning, and there we go. We got him. All right, cool. And again, he drops, you know, pretty good gear also, just like a lot of the other end bosses. Undariel, Mephisto, Diablo, all good places to farm if you're looking for good gear. And he dropped a set item. And this is one of the more common sets to find. I know what it is. It's going to be Saigon's. Saigon's Sabot Greaves, which gives you faster run walk and additional cold resistance. So I'm not sure, you know, the fire resistance is probably worth a little more than the cold resist, but 40 cold resist is still really good, and the additional 10% faster run walk, we will probably put these on and finally get rid of those Havoc Trample boots that we had made for us by Charcy. Just because that 40 cold res is good. And then also, that should give us the freedom to get rid of this belt with its 40 cold resist and put on something that will allow us to not be carrying all these potions in our inventory all the time. So let's go back to the Pandemonium Fortress and close out the act. Okay, got it. Before we do, let's identify some items. First of all, we'll throw our new boots in here. That as well. And come and talk to Jamela. And +1 to javelin and spear skills. Sure, I mean those are cool if you're in Amazon. And this is actually not very good. I thought that there would be some additional plus skills or something on there and we could sell it for the max value, but we can't. So that's fine. All right. So we've completed all of the quests through Act 4. And now we have to see what awaits us in Act 5. Let's go talk to Tyrael.
Praise be to the light. You have accomplished the impossible. Diablo and Mephisto have been banished back into the black abyss that spawned them, and the corrupted soul stones are no more. However, while you were fighting here, Baal remained behind in the mortal realm, building an army of hellish minions. Now Baal's army is searching for the World Stone, the ancient source of all the soul stones and their power, while leaving behind a wake of destruction. They have forged deeply into the barbarian homelands, heading directly for the summit of Mount Ariyat. Baal knows, mortal hero. That is the very site of the blessed World Stone. Now, enter the portal I have opened for you. It will take you to the barbarian city of Harrogath, the last bastion of order on the slopes of Ariyat.
You didn't think it was over, did you?
I heard later that he was defeated. The soul stones were destroyed in Hellforge. All except one.
Marius, give me the stone, and all is forgiven. Give it to me, Marius.
Take it. Take it, take it. I'm glad this is finally over, Tyrael. Look what the stone has done to me.
You haven't failed, old man. You've done exactly as you were meant to do. However, I am not the Archangel Tyrael. You have done well, Marius. Now I think you shall have your reward.
He is the Lord of Destruction, after all.
fail. The gates of Sescheron have stood for eons beyond remembrance, and you shall not reach them now. Remove your foul demons from our lands. We stand on the side of light. You shall not be allowed to reach Mount Ariat, and that which you seek will not be yours.
I shall take your position into consideration. Well, it seems your terms are not acceptable.
So the first 4 acts were the original game, the original Diablo 2 base game released with the first 4 acts. The 5th act is an expansion called Lord of Destruction, which is why you'll see, I don't know if it's actually in here anywhere. But when you create a new game, you have the option to do an expansion game or a base game, and a lot of people refer to this as D2LOD, Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, because that includes the Act 5, which is the expansion, which is just basically the full game of Diablo. And of course, the 5th act also introduced the Assassin as one of the classes, along with the Druid. So that's why there's kind of a big cutscene there to close out the end of the original game and then to introduce the expansion. So here we are in Act 5. We'll do just maybe the first initial quest here and then wrap it for this evening. First of all, let's go talk to Deckard Cain. Okay. Alright, so that's the mercenary guy. Alright. Can do. Looks like we got our first quest. Siege on Haraga. Stop the siege by killing Shenk the Overseer and the Bloody Foothills. Okay. I think the last person we need to talk to is Neelathok, who's over here. Okay then. But you can gamble from him, so that's something, I guess. Anyway, let's head out of town and see if we can stop Shenk. Nope, single socket. And there is our next level. How about our little barbarian friends here? Demon hide glove. gloves. Gloves can be really good, although I doubt we're high enough level to get the best mods on it yet. Just keep making our way up the mountain. Probably getting close to where Shink is by now. Oh, yep, it must be because the quest popped up. Yep, all those guys up there. And there's Shink. And fortunately, because we do so much damage, out pretty easily. And right up here is the waypoint. And we are level 25, which is pretty much right on schedule with where you're supposed to be in the game at this point. I'm going to pop up here for just a second because there is a mini-boss here called Eldritch, who is always there. And he's just a really good source of experience. See, we just leveled up and we're already almost level 26. So there's actually a, this is the only place in the game where you can run into, we're going to head back to Haragath here and turn in this quest. But level 24 and level 25 is kind of the only magical place in the game where if you're not level, at least level 24 by the time you are going to just about the end of Act 5, you will get basically 0 experience from all the monsters that you kill. However, once you hit level 25, or actually once you hit level 24, and then you complete one of the quests in Act 5, that will automatically level you up to level 25. After that time, you will continue to gain experience. But until then, you gain basically 0 experience. Because there is a modifier put into experience gains for monsters of a certain level above your level if you're not at least level 25. Once you hit level 25, that just kind of goes away. You do gain less experience from monsters that are further away from your current level, but it's not anywhere near as severe as what the penalty is before you reach level 25. So the moral of the story is basically be level 24 by the time you get to the end of Act 5, or even better, level 25, because now all the monsters that we kill here in Act 5 will give really good experience. So, let's talk to Larzik. So now you have this extra little item on here as a reward for completing the quest to add sockets to an item. And this is super, because again, it's a quest reward, so it's you can only do it once, but it's really good because this is a way to basically take an item, have sockets added to it, and then most likely use it for a rune word. So now, if we don't find a 4-socketed sword, this will be the way that we will make one, so that we can use the spirit rune word, because that is such a good rune word that it's worth spending this socket quest on it. So we've done that. That takes care of the siege on Haragath with Larzik adding sockets. Now we have the next quest is the rescue on Mount Ariat, which is to find the soldiers in the Frigid Highlands. But we will do that next time. So next time we will probably finish up the rest of Act 5 and basically beat the game. So I'll see you then.